For 7 months, the whole family relied on her paternal grandfather to take care of little 9-year-old Emma for Sunday lunches at their home outside Portland, Oregon. The girl always came back quiet and pale, but no one suspected anything, until the day she begged on her knees for her mother not to take her anymore. "Please, Mom, I can't take it anymore," Emma said, trembling and crying non-stop, her hands clinging to Jennifer's legs. When Jennifer finally found out what was going on in that locked basement room, her life and her daughter's life changed forever. But to understand how we got here, we need to go back a few weeks and get to know the full story of Jennifer Thompson and her daughter Emma. Jennifer Thompson was 36 years old and worked as a nurse at Providence Portland Medical Center, one of the largest hospitals in the city. She was a determined woman, with brown hair always tied in a practical ponytail, green eyes that reflected both affection and constant concern. A single mother since her difficult divorce 3 years ago, she devoted every free minute to her only daughter. Jennifer was always the kind of mum who checked her homework, who prepared healthy snacks, who read bedtime stories even after grueling 12-hour shifts in the hospital. She knew that raising a child alone was not easy, but she never complained. Emma was his reason for living, his greatest treasure, the light that illuminated even the most difficult days. Emma Thompson was a 9-year-old girl with bright blue eyes and long brown hair that she loved to tie up with colorful bows. He was always a sweet, obedient child who smiled easily and made friends effortlessly at the elementary school where he studied. She was the type of girl who helped her classmates with difficulties, who shared lunch, who never caused problems. Jennifer was always proud of the daughter she raised, that kind and loving child who, despite the absence of her father, seemed to be growing up happy and healthy. His paternal grandfather, Robert Thompson, was a 68-year-old man, widowed for 5 years, who lived alone in a large, well-kept house in Gresham, a quiet suburb on the outskirts of Portland. A retired former U.S. Army serviceman, Robert was respected in the community. His neighbors described him as a polite man, always ready to help, always with a smile on his face and a kind word. He took care of the garden with dedication, greeted everyone on the street, participated in the meetings of the neighborhood association. He was, in the eyes of all, an exemplary grandfather, a pillar of the community, someone who could be trusted completely. Ever since Emma was just 2 years old, Robert had maintained the sacred tradition of Sunday lunches. Every week he called on Friday night, always at the same time, confirming that he would wait for his granddaughter on Sunday at noon. "My favorite granddaughter," he said on the phone in that warm and affectionate voice. "I can't wait to see you and give you a very tight hug." And Emma, in her early years, was always excited by these phone calls, jumping for joy around the house, counting down the days until Sunday. In this video, you'll discover how one mother trusted her maternal instinct even when absolutely everyone around her said she was overreacting, that she was seeing things where none existed. You'll see how small signs, which most people would dismiss as simple childish tantrums, became the key to saving not only your daughter, but possibly several other children. This is a story about courage, about determination, about the power of a mother who doesn't give up when she knows something is deeply wrong. And every detail you'll hear here is based on real events that happened to families like yours and mine. If you've come this far, it's because real history that matters, really interests you. Therefore, I need to ask you something important before we continue. Help this content reach more people, more mothers, more families who need to hear this message. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any of our next exciting stories. Jennifer woke up every Sunday at 8 in the morning, even though it was her only day off in the week. The alarm clock rang softly, and she got up slowly, trying not to make noise so as not to wake Emma up so early. He went to the kitchen, prepared breakfast, sorted the clothes that Emma would wear to visit her grandfather. Always something beautiful, but comfortable. A cotton dress in the summer, jeans, and a long-sleeved blouse in the winter. Clean flats, matching lace. Around 9 o'clock, Jennifer would enter her daughter's room and open the curtains slowly, letting the soft morning light in. Emma woke up rubbing her eyes, still sleepy, but always with a smile on her face. "Good morning, Mum," she said in that voice still hoarse from sleep. "Good morning, my love. Today is the day to visit Grandpa, do you remember?" And Emma jumped out of bed, excitedly, running to the bathroom to brush her teeth and wash her face. In the early years of this routine, Emma loved these Sundays. During breakfast, she talked non-stop about the things she would do at her grandfather's house. "Mum, will Grandpa make those chocolate chip cookies I love today? Are we going to play that board game he taught me? Oh, Mum, I can't wait." Jennifer smiled when she saw her daughter so happy, so excited. She felt enormous gratitude for Robert, for taking on such an important role in Emma's life, especially after the girl's father, Michael, simply disappeared from their lives shortly after the divorce. Michael was never a present father, even when they were still married. He worked too much, drank too much, and when Jennifer finally filed for divorce 3 years ago, he didn't fight for custody, he didn't ask to see his daughter, he just left Portland and never came back. "I didn't even call on birthdays, nor did I send cards at Christmas." Emma, who was only 6 years old at the time, suffered greatly from her father's abandonment. "Why doesn't Daddy love me, Mom?" she asked, crying, and Jennifer had no answer that could ease that pain. It was Robert who filled this void. He began to call more often, to invite Emma to spend Sundays with him, to be present in every way possible. Jennifer was deeply grateful. "At least Emma has a father figure," she thought. "At least my daughter won't grow up without any man who truly loves her." Robert's house was exactly 25 minutes' drive from Jennifer's apartment, in a quiet Gresham neighborhood called Powell Valley. It was a beautiful region, with tree-lined streets, houses spaced out with large gardens, white picket fences, that classic American style that looked like something out of a movie. His house was 2-story, painted white with blue accents, a front porch with rocking chairs, an impeccable garden with colorful flowers and grass always neatly trimmed. There was an American flag flying from the garden pole, and in the garage was parked the black pickup truck that Robert had driven for more than 10 years. Every week, Robert called on Friday night, punctually at 7:30 at night. The phone rang, Emma ran to answer, and her grandfather's warm voice filled the house. "Hi, my favorite granddaughter. Are you excited for our Sunday lunch?" "Yes, Grandpa, I always am," Emma replied, smiling. "That's good, my love. Grandpa has already bought everything to make that food you love. I can't wait to see you." Then Emma would pass the phone to Jennifer, and Robert would confirm the time. "Noon, as always, Jennifer. I'll be waiting." And Jennifer was always grateful. "Thank you for doing that, Robert. You don't know how much you mean to Emma, and to me too. She's my granddaughter, Jennifer. It's the least I can do. Family is everything." On Sunday at noon, Jennifer parked the car in front of Robert's house, and before he even turned off the engine, he was already on the porch waving that wide, welcoming smile. "My granddaughter arrived," he screamed, opening his arms. Emma would run out of the car and jump into the arms of her grandfather, who would spin her in the air laughing. "Oh, how you've grown, girl. She's more beautiful every day. Let Grandpa see you well." He would put her on the floor and hold her face with both hands, looking her in the eyes fondly. Jennifer watched the scene from the car and felt her heart fill with gratitude and relief. Emma was being loved. She was being cared for. She was happy. Robert always invited Jennifer in to stay for lunch as well, but she always politely declined. "Thank you, Robert, but I have a few things to do at home. Besides, this is the special time of the two of you. I don't want to get in the way." "Are you sure, Jennifer? There's always room for you here." "I'm sure, thank you. I'll pick her up at 5 in the afternoon, can I?" "Perfectly. 5 hours. We will be here waiting for you." Jennifer said goodbye to Emma with a kiss on the forehead. a tight hug, and those usual recommendations. Behave, my love, obey Grandpa, and have a lot of fun. I always have fun, Mom, Emma replied, already running into the house, eager to start the day. Jennifer returned home alone, taking advantage of those 5 hours to do the household chores they accumulated during the week. I did laundry, cleaned the apartment, organized the bills, sometimes just rested on the couch watching some program on television. They were the only hours of silence she had in the week, and although she missed Emma, she knew that this time was also necessary for her to regain her energy. At 5 o'clock sharp, Jennifer would return to Gresham to pick up her daughter. The bell rang. Robert opened the door with Emma by his side and always said the same thing. "It was a wonderful day, Jennifer. Emma is such a special girl." "Did you have fun?" Jennifer asked, looking at her daughter. "Yes, Mom, it was very nice," Emma replied, but Jennifer always noticed that she looked a little more tired, a little quieter than when she had arrived in the morning. Well, the day was long, Jennifer thought. It is normal for her to be tired. On the way home, Jennifer would ask about the day. "So, my love, what did you do today? Did Grandpa make those cookies?" "You did, Mom. They were delicious." "And what else did you do?" "We play. We talked. He told me stories." The answers were always vague, always short. But Jennifer didn't think it was strange. 9-year-olds don't always like to give too many details, she thought. As long as Emma was happy and safe, that was what mattered. At home, Emma showered and went straight to bed earlier than on other days of the week. "I'm tired, Mom. It was a long day." "Of course, my love. Get plenty of rest. Tomorrow there is school." Jennifer covered her with the blanket, kissed her forehead, turned off the light, and went to her own room feeling at peace. Emma was fine. She had a grandfather who loved her. Everything was right in the world. But about 7 months ago, something began to change. Subtly at first, so subtly that Jennifer almost didn't notice, but little by little, week after week, it became impossible to ignore. It all started with small changes in Emma's behavior on Sunday mornings. Instead of waking up excited and running to get ready, she started taking more time in bed. "Mum, can I sleep a little longer?" she asked, pulling the blanket up to her chin. "Emma, dear, you always love going to Grandpa's house. Come on, get up, otherwise we will be late." "But Mum, I'm sleepy." It was a tired week at school. Jennifer thought it was just that. Tiredness, after all. The school routine could be exhausting for a 9-year-old. Then came the excuses. "Mom, can we go a little later today? Grandpa won't mind. Or else, Mom, I think I have a stomach ache. Can I stay at home today?" Jennifer put her hand on her daughter's forehead, checked for a fever. "No, nothing. You're fine, my love. Come on, get ready. Grandpa is waiting for you." Emma obeyed, but Jennifer noticed the reluctance, the way she dragged her feet to the bathroom, how it took her much longer to get dressed. In the car, during the 25 minutes to Gresham, Emma stood quietly looking out the window. None of that from before. None of that excitement about the chocolate chip cookies and board games. Just silence. A heavy, uncomfortable silence. "Are you okay, my love?" Jennifer asked from time to time, looking in the rearview mirror. "I am, Mom," Emma replied without taking her eyes off the window. When they arrived at Robert's house, he remained the same. Always on the balcony, always waving, always with that wide and welcoming smile. My granddaughter arrived, he screamed, opening his arms. But Emma no longer ran to throw herself into his arms. She got out of the car slowly, walked to him unhurriedly, accepted the hug, but did not reciprocate with the same enthusiasm as before. "Hi, Grandpa," she said in a low, almost inaudible voice. Jennifer noticed, of course she did, but when I looked at Robert, I saw only the affectionate grandfather of always. "Is everything okay, Robert?" she asked. "Yes, it is, Jennifer. I think Emma is entering that phase, you know, pre-adolescence. Girls of this age start to get moodier, more temperamental. It's normal." And Jennifer wanted to believe that. I wanted to believe that it was just a phase, just natural growth, no big deal. But at 5 in the afternoon, when Jennifer returned to pick up Emma, the changes became even more evident. The girl was always pale, with dark circles under her eyes, as if she hadn't slept in days. The expressionless face, the lips tightened, the shoulders drooping. "It was a wonderful day," Robert said as always. "I already miss my granddaughter." Emma didn't answer anything, just held her mother's hand and pulled towards the car. "Come on, Mum, let's go home." On the way back, Jennifer asked the usual questions. "How was the day, my love? What did you do?" But the answers were now even shorter, even more evasive. "It was good, Mum. We did things. Can I be quiet? I'm tired." Jennifer looked in the rearview mirror and saw her daughter huddled in the back seat, hugging herself, looking out the window with that blank expression she had never seen before. When she got home, Emma went straight to her room without having a snack, without wanting to talk, without wanting to do anything at all. She locked the door, and Jennifer stood outside, worried. "Emma, my love, open the door. Let's talk." "I don't want to talk, Mom. I just want to be alone." "But you barely ate anything today. Let me do something to you. I'm not hungry. Please, Mom, leave me alone." Jennifer leaned her forehead against the door, her heart tightening in her chest. Something was wrong. She knew something was profoundly wrong. But what? What could be going on? Robert was a good man, a devoted grandfather, respected by all. It didn't make sense. "Maybe it's really just a phase," Jennifer tried to convince herself. "Maybe I'm exaggerating." But that knot in her stomach, that tightness in her chest, that mother's instinct that screamed inside her, didn't leave her alone. At school, Jennifer began to notice other troubling changes. Emma's teacher called one afternoon. "Mrs. Thompson, I would like to talk to you about Emma. Is everything okay at home?" Jennifer felt her blood run cold. "Why do you ask? Did something happen?" "Well, Emma has always been an exemplary, participative, cheerful student. But in recent weeks she has been very quiet, hardly talks to her colleagues, does not participate in activities. Just yesterday she started crying out of nowhere during math class. When I asked her what had happened, she just shook her head and said it was okay. But it's clearly not, Miss Thompson." Jennifer thanked the teacher, promised to talk to Emma, and hung up the phone with trembling hands. He went up to his daughter's room and knocked on the door slowly. "Emma, can I come in?" The girl was lying on the bed, hugging the teddy bear she had received when she was 5 years old. "You can, Mum." Jennifer came in and sat on the edge of the bed. "The teacher called me today. She said you cried at school." Emma shrank even more, hugging the teddy bear tightly. "It was nothing, Mom. I'm already fine. My love, you can tell me anything. If something is bothering you, if someone has done something, I need to know. It's nothing, Mom. I just wanted things to be the same as before." "As before how, my love?" "Before what?" Emma began to cry softly, her face buried in the teddy. "I can't explain it, Mom. Just before, when everything was easier." Jennifer hugged her daughter, feeling that despair growing in her chest. There was something Emma wasn't saying, something that was destroying her inside. But what? What was your daughter hiding from her? That night, Jennifer could barely sleep. He tossed and turned on the bed, staring at the ceiling, trying to understand what was happening. He mentally went through all aspects of Emma's life. The school seemed fine. The teacher did not mention bullying or problems with classmates. At home, the two have always had a close, loving relationship. What was left then? What had changed in recent months? And then Jennifer realized Sundays. The changes began after Sundays at his grandfather's house. She tried to push the thought away immediately. No, impossible. Robert was the grandfather. He was the only father figure Emma had. He was a respected, reliable man. But that thought came back, insistent, hammering in her head. What if? What if something was happening there? What if Robert wasn't who everyone thought he was? Jennifer shook her head, trying to shake off those horrible thoughts. She was going crazy. I was seeing things that didn't exist. But when she closed her eyes, she saw Emma's pale face. She saw the dark circles under her eyes. She saw that fear in the girl's eyes every time Sunday came. I couldn't ignore it. I couldn't pretend everything was fine when it clearly wasn't. If this revelation, is arousing in you a deep curiosity about what really happened, about how a mother discovered the truth that everyone around her refused to see, comment right now, "I want more stories," and please leave your like on this video so that more people can hear this important message. Sundays became more and more difficult, more and more painful. Emma began to cry openly as she left the house, clinging to her mother's arm in despair. "I don't want to go today, Mom, please. Please don't take me there today." Jennifer's heart broke to see her daughter like that. "But my love, you have always been at Grandpa's house. Why don't you want to go anymore?" "I can't explain it, Mom. I just don't want to. Please." Jennifer knelt in front of her daughter, held her face with both hands, looked deep into her eyes. "Emma, you need to tell me if something is going on. Did Grandpa do anything that scared you? Did he hurt you? Did he say something that scared you?" Emma shook her head frantically, tears running down her face. "No, Mom, it's not like that at all. I just don't want to go. Please believe me." Jennifer called Robert, heart in throat, trying to keep her voice calm and collected. "Robert, Emma is very reluctant to go today. She's crying, saying she doesn't want to go. Did anything happen the last time you saw each other? Something that might have scared her?" His voice on the other end of the line was calm, worried, perfectly natural. "Absolutely nothing, Jennifer. Emma always has fun here. Just yesterday we made cookies together. We played that board game that she loves. She was laughing. She was happy. Maybe it's just a child's tantrum. You know how they are at this age. They want to test limits." Jennifer wanted to believe it. "I desperately wanted to believe that it was just a tantrum, just a phase, just a child testing limits like everyone does." But there was something in Emma's voice when she begged not to go, something in the despair in her eyes that didn't sound like a tantrum. It seemed like real, genuine, deep fear. Jennifer talked to other mothers at school, trying to find answers, trying to understand if this was really normal. "My daughter is going through a strange phase," she said to a group of mothers while waiting at the exit of school. "She doesn't want to go to her grandfather's house anymore. She cries every time. She says she doesn't want to go. Have you ever been through something like this?" The other mothers exchanged glances with each other and began to talk, all at the same time. "Oh, my son also went through a phase like this. Suddenly she didn't want to go to her grandmother's house anymore. It was just a phase. My 8-year-old daughter didn't want to go to family parties anymore. It lasted about 2 months and then passed. These are phases, it's normal. Pre-adolescence arrives early nowadays. But something inside Jennifer, that maternal instinct that never fails, that inner voice that every mother has, began to scream louder and louder that it wasn't a phase, it wasn't a tantrum, it wasn't normal. There was something profoundly wrong, and she needed to find out what it was before it was too late. Emma stopped eating properly. Jennifer prepared her daughter's favorite dishes, but Emma just pushed the food from side to side with her fork, eating almost nothing. "My love, you need to eat. She's getting very thin. I'm not hungry, Mum, but you barely ate anything today, not even yesterday, not even the day before yesterday. I'm worried. I'm going to eat, Mum. I'm just not hungry right now." But she didn't eat. The clothes began to loosen on her body. Her face became thinner. Her cheeks that had previously been flushed were now pale and deep. The nightmares began too. Jennifer would wake up in the middle of the night to Emma's screams. "No, please, no, I don't want to. Please." He would run to his daughter's room and find her sitting on the bed, sweating, trembling, her eyes wide with terror. My love, it's all right. It was just a nightmare. I am here. You're safe." Emma threw herself into her mother's arms, crying, her whole body trembling. "What have you dreamed, my love? Can you tell me?" Emma shook her head, still shaking. "I don't remember, Mum. I can't remember." But Jennifer knew she was lying. She remembered. "I was just afraid to speak." On Friday night, when the phone rang at 7:30 as usual, Emma didn't rush to answer as she had before. She stood on the couch, staring at her phone with that terrified expression, as if she were a snake about to attack. "Won't you answer, my love?" Jennifer asked. "It's Grandpa. Don't you want to talk to him?" "I don't want to, Mom." "Let the voicemail answer." "But you always like to talk to him." "Not today, Mum. Please." Jennifer answered the phone, talked to Robert, confirmed the Sunday time as usual, but for the first time in months she felt a strange discomfort. Something wasn't right. Something was very, very wrong, and she needed to find out what it was. But what happened in the next few hours would destroy all the certainties Jennifer had about her family, about the people she trusted, about everything she thought she knew about the world. It was Saturday afternoon, the day before the next Sunday lunch. Jennifer was in Emma's room, arranging the clothes she would wear the next day. Emma had gone out for a bike ride on the street with some friends in the building, so Jennifer took the opportunity to organize her daughter's wardrobe, separate clothes that were already small to donate, fold the ones that still fit. As she made the bed, Jennifer lifted her pillow to fix the sheet and saw something that made her heart literally stop for a second. A piece of paper folded several times, hidden there under the pillow. Jennifer picked up the paper with her hands already shaking. She felt her stomach turn before it even opened. She unfolded slowly, and when she read what was written there, in Emma's trembling, childish handwriting, her legs failed, and she had to sit on the bed because she could no longer stand. "I don't want to go to Grandpa's house anymore. He takes me to the basement. Please, God, help me. I'm afraid. I don't like what he does. But he said it's a secret, that I can't tell anyone. Please, God, make it stop." Jennifer read those words once, twice, 3 times. Every word was like a stab in the chest. The air was lacking in the lungs. Her hands trembled so much that the paper swayed, making the words dance in front of her eyes. No, 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 no. This could not be happening. It couldn't be real. But it was there, written in her daughter's own hand, hidden under her pillow, as if it were the last cry for help from a desperate child. Jennifer heard the front door open, heard Emma's voice screaming, "I'm home, Mom." She held the note to her chest, took a deep breath, trying to control herself, trying not to panic in front of her daughter. Emma appeared at the door of the room, cheeks slightly flushed from the exercise, hair messed up by the wind. "Hi, Mom. What are you doing?" Jennifer looked at her daughter, held the note in front of her. Emma froze. The face that was flushed turned white within seconds. Her eyes widened. His hands began to tremble. "My love, come here. Sit here next to your mother. We need to talk." Emma began to cry before she even sat down, as if she knew exactly what the conversation was going to be about. "No, Mum, please. I didn't want you to see that." "Emma, my love, look at me. Look into my eyes." Jennifer held her daughter's face with both hands, forcing her to look at her. "What happens in the basement? What does Grandpa do to you there?" Emma began to cry desperately, a cry that came from the depths of her soul, a cry of a child who had carried a huge weight alone for too long. "I can't tell you, Mom. He said that if I tell him, something bad will happen. He said that no one will believe me, that everyone will think I'm lying. That will take me away from you." Jennifer felt the anger explode inside her chest, but she forced herself to keep her voice calm, controlled, comforting. "My love, listen to the mother. Nothing bad will happen. I promise. And I will always believe in you. Always. Whatever you tell me, I'll believe it. You are my daughter, my #1 priority, and no one will ever take you away from me. You understand? No one." Emma sobbed, her whole body shaking, her hands clutched in her mother's hands as if they were the only solid thing in a world that was falling apart. He takes me to the basement, Mum, every time. He says it's to take pictures, which are special photos. That will be a surprise for you, but I don't like the photos, Mum. I don't like the clothes he makes me wear. I don't like to stay in that chair. I don't like it when he... Emma's voice cracked and she couldn't continue. Jennifer hugged her daughter tightly, feeling her own tears running down her face, feeling a mixture of anger, fear, guilt, and determination so intense she could barely breathe. "Okay, my love. All right. You don't need to say anything else now. You were very brave to write this note, very, very brave, and the mother will solve it. I promise you that I will solve this, and you'll never have to go back to that house. Never again." Jennifer hugged Emma until she stopped crying, until her breathing calmed down, until she finally fell asleep exhausted in her mother's arms. He carefully put his daughter to bed, covered her with the blanket, kissed her forehead, and left the room, closing the door slowly. And then, alone in the room, Jennifer let the anger take over. He punched the sofa cushion with all the force he had. How did she not notice? How did you let that happen? How did you trust him blindly, without ever questioning anything? That night was the longest of Jennifer's life. She didn't bat an eye. She sat on the sofa in the living room, Emma's note in hand, reading and rereading those words, each one of them etching itself in her mind like a red-hot iron. By dawn, she had already made a decision. I wouldn't take Emma on Sunday. And I would find out exactly what was happening in that house, in that basement. It didn't matter what had to be done. On Saturday morning, Jennifer called Robert. His voice was cheerful as always when he answered. "Hi, Jennifer. Everything is ready here to receive my granddaughter tomorrow. I did the shopping, bought those cookies that she likes so much. Robert, Emma won't be able to go tomorrow. She has a fever." His voice instantly changed from cheerful to worried. "Fever? Is she okay? Have you ever taken it to the doctor?" "Not yet, but I'll watch today. If it gets worse, I'll take it to the emergency room. But she won't be able to go tomorrow." "What a pity. Poor my granddaughter. Send her a kiss. She says that Grandpa misses her and that he hopes she gets better soon. I will send it. See you later, Robert. See you later, Jennifer. Take good care of her." Jennifer hung up the phone and stood there for a long moment, her hand still on the device, her heart pounding in her chest. Tomorrow. Tomorrow she would find out the truth. If you are here so far, it is because this story is moving you deeply, because you understand the importance of protecting our children, of listening to what they cannot say with words. What follows will show the exact moment when everything changed, when the truth finally came to light. So don't leave here. Stay with me until the end, because at the end of this video, we will reveal the complete outcome, with all the details that few know. This is a story that every mother, every father, every caregiver needs to hear. Sunday morning, Jennifer woke up even before the sun rose. He had not been able to sleep more than 2 hours during the night, and those 2 hours were full of nightmares. He got up, took a shower, dressed in dark and comfortable clothes. She was nervous. Her hands trembled, her stomach turned, but there was an iron determination inside her that she had never felt before. Today she would find out the truth. Today she would protect her daughter once and for all. Emma woke up around 8 o'clock to find her mother in the kitchen preparing pancakes, her daughter's favorite coffee. "Mum, today is Sunday. Grandpa isn't waiting for me?" Jennifer turned and smiled at her daughter, a reassuring smile that didn't reflect the whirlwind inside her. "I called him yesterday, my love. He said you have a fever and you won't be able to go today." Emma seemed to relax instantly. Her shoulders slumped, her face lost that constant tension. "Really, Mom? I don't need to go." "You don't have to, my love. Today you will stay here, resting. By the way, you will spend the day at Aunt Sarah's house. Remember her, my friend from the hospital. She has a lot of movies that you love and said she'll bake cookies with you. Sounds good?" Emma smiled, a genuine smile Jennifer hadn't seen in months. "Sounds great, Mom." Around 10 in the morning, Jennifer drove Emma to the apartment of Sarah, her best friend, who lived a few blocks away. Sarah was 42, a nurse too, and had known Jennifer for over 10 years. They saw each other almost every day in the hospital and had a solid, true friendship. Sarah opened the door and hugged Emma fondly. "Hi, dear. Good to see you. We're going to have a lot of fun today." Emma walked in excitedly, and Jennifer asked to speak to Sarah privately for a moment. They went to the kitchen, away from Emma, who was already turning on the television in the living room. "Sarah, I need a favor, a very big favor." "Of course, Jennifer. What do you need?" "I need Emma to stay here with you for the rest of the day, maybe even night. I have something very important to solve." Sarah frowned, worried. "Is everything okay? You look terrible." "It's not okay, no, but it will be. I just need to solve something first. Can you do that for me?" "Of course I can. Emma can stay here as long as it takes." "Thank you, Sarah. You don't know how much it means to me." Jennifer said goodbye to Emma with a long, tight hug. "Mom will solve some things, okay, my love? You stay here with Aunt Sarah, have a lot of fun, and I'll come back to pick you up later." "It's okay, Mom." Emma hugged her mother back and ran back to the room where the drawing was already starting. Jennifer looked at her daughter for a moment longer, recording that image of Emma finally relaxed, finally smiling, and left the apartment with her heart in her throat. Jennifer got in the car and drove to Gresham. Every mile of the road seemed longer than usual. His heart was pounding in his chest, his hands were sweating on the steering wheel, his breathing was quick. She didn't know exactly what she was going to do when she got there. She didn't have a detailed plan. "I only knew that I needed to see with my own eyes what was happening in that house, in that basement." He arrived on the street from Robert's house around 11:30 in the morning. He parked the car 3 houses earlier, hiding behind a black SUV that was parked on the street. From there, she had a clear view of the entrance to Robert's house, but he could not easily see her. The street was quiet, silent as always on Sunday mornings. Some people washing cars, others mowing lawns, children playing in the gardens. Everything so normal, so American, so perfect on the surface. Robert's house looked the same as ever. Large, well cared for, with the American flag fluttering in the garden, the colorful flowers, the impeccable grass. How could something so horrible be happening in a place that seemed so safe, so welcoming? Jennifer stood there watching for 2 hours. Robert left only once, around noon, to pick up the newspaper that was in the driveway. He wore sweatpants and an old t-shirt, slippers on his feet. He picked up the newspaper, looked at the street for a moment, and went back inside. Nothing strange, nothing suspicious, everything completely normal. Maybe I'm going crazy, Jennifer thought for a moment. Maybe Emma imagined things. Maybe I'm seeing dangers where there aren't any. But then he remembered the note. He remembered the words written with that trembling and desperate handwriting. "He takes me to the basement. I'm afraid. Please, God, help me." No. She wasn't going crazy. Emma wasn't making anything up. That was real. And Jennifer needed to figure out what exactly was going on. After 2 hours of observing without seeing anything useful, Jennifer decided she needed more information. I needed to talk to people who knew Robert. I needed to understand who he really was when no one was looking. During the next week, Jennifer took a few days off from the hospital and began her investigation. If this story is already changing the way you see maternal protection, how you understand the importance of trusting instinct, like this video, subscribe to the channel and activate the bell so that this message reaches more mothers, more fathers, more people who need to understand the importance of listening to our children even when they cannot speak clearly. On Monday morning, Jennifer drove to Gresham again. He parked near the local market where Robert always shopped. He went in and stared at the shelves, waiting. After about 20 minutes, he appeared, pushing a cart, calmly placing items inside, greeting employees who seemed to know him well. Jennifer hid behind a shelf and watched. He seemed so normal, so harmless. A 68-year-old man shopping, nothing more. As Robert left, Jennifer approached the lady at the checkout, a woman in her 60s with grey hair and glasses hanging from a chain around her neck. "Excuse me, do you know that gentleman who just left? Mr. Robert?" Jennifer asked, pointing discreetly. "Oh yes, everyone here knows Mr. Robert." "Why?" "I am a family friend. I was curious to know how he is seen in the community." The lady smiled broadly. "Mr. Robert is a lovely person, always polite, always kind, comes here every week for years. There's always a kind word for everyone. He is a very good man. Jennifer thanked her and left the market feeling her stomach turn. Everyone thought he was wonderful. Everyone trusted him. How was she going to prove that there was something wrong when everyone around her saw nothing but goodness? On Tuesday, Jennifer spoke with a neighbor of Robert's. He knocked on the door of the house next door, and a man of about 75 years answered. "Good morning, my name is Jennifer. I am the daughter-in-law of Mr. Robert, who lives next door. I'm doing research on the neighborhood. Would you mind answering a few questions?" The man smiled and invited Jennifer in. Of course, come in, please." Sitting in the living room, Jennifer asked general questions about the neighborhood, about the neighbors, and finally asked about Robert. "And Mr. Robert, what is he like as a neighbor?" The 75-year-old man smiled broadly. "Robert is one of the best neighbors anyone can have, always ready to help. When my wife got sick last year, he came here every day to check on her, brought her food, offered help. He's a man of character, you know, those that no longer exist today. Retired military, man of his word. The whole community respects him." Jennifer thanked her and left the house feeling more and more isolated, more and more alone. Everyone loved Robert, everyone trusted him. If she went to the authorities now, without concrete evidence, with only a note and the word of a 9-year-old child against the word of a respected military veteran, who would believe her? On Wednesday, Jennifer spoke with other mothers at Emma's school. While waiting at the exit, she struck up a conversation with a group of 3 mothers who also had daughters in the same grade as Emma. "Can I ask you a weird question?" Jennifer began. The 3 mothers looked at her curiously. "Of course it can. Have you ever had a situation where your daughters were afraid of someone in the family, like grandparents, uncles, cousins, something like that?" The 3 mothers exchanged glances with each other. One of them, a blonde woman of about 40, asked why the question. Jennifer took a deep breath. "My daughter has been showing signs of discomfort with her paternal grandfather, and I'm trying to understand if it's normal, if other children go through this." The blonde woman shook her head. "My daughter loves her grandparents. I never saw any signs of discomfort." Another mother, a brunette with short hair, commented that Emma is not just jealous. Sometimes children at this age want their mother's undivided attention and see their grandparents as competition. The third mother added, "Or maybe she's going through some phase. Pre-adolescence starts early nowadays." Jennifer felt the tears threatening to appear, but she held on. "Thank you, girls. It's just that I'm just worried you would understand if you found out that your instincts." Jennifer felt a co-worker gently touch her shoulder. "Are you okay, Jennifer? You have suddenly turned very pale." Jennifer shook her head, forcing a smile. "I'm fine, yes. I'm just worried about Emma." The mothers said a few more words of comfort, but Jennifer could barely hear. She was alone in this, completely alone. No one saw what she saw. No one would believe it without concrete evidence. A co-worker at the hospital, during her lunch break on Thursday, suggested something that made Jennifer feel even worse. "You know, sometimes kids at that age get jealous. They make things up to get attention. Isn't Emma just jealous of having to share time with her grandfather? Maybe she wants Jennifer's undivided attention and is making excuses not to go there anymore." Jennifer felt her blood boiling, but she controlled herself. Emma is not making anything up. "I know my daughter." But her colleague insisted. "I'm not saying she's knowingly lying, Jennifer, but children of this age have a very fertile imagination. They can confuse dreams with reality. They can exaggerate situations." Jennifer left that lunch feeling worse than when she had entered. Everyone thought she was exaggerating, that she was seeing problems where there weren't any, that Emma was just going through a normal phase. But every time Jennifer looked at Emma and saw the real fear in the girl's eyes, she knew that it was not an invention, it was not a phase, it was not a tantrum. It was real, deeply, terribly real. And she needed to find out what was going on, no matter how many people thought she was crazy. On Friday night, the phone rang at 7:30 as usual. Jennifer answered before Emma could hear. "Hello, Robert. His voice was warm as always. "Hi, Jennifer. How is my granddaughter? Are you better from the fever?" Jennifer took a deep breath, trying to keep her voice calm. "It is improving, but it is still not 100%. I think it's better for her not to go on Sunday either." There was a pause on the other end of the line, a pause that seemed to last longer than it should. "I see. Well, health is a priority, of course. But I miss her so much, Jennifer. I haven't seen her for 2 weeks." "I know, Robert. As soon as she's better, I'll take her there. All right. Send her a big kiss. You can leave it." Jennifer hung up the phone and stood there, her hand still on the device, her heart racing. There was something in his voice, something almost imperceptible, but it was there. Frustration, impatience, as if Emma was something he owned and was being prevented from accessing. Jennifer felt a shiver run down her spine. That night, Emma slept in Jennifer's room for the first time in years. "Mom, can I sleep with you today? I'm scared." "Of course, my love, come here." They lay together on the bed, Jennifer hugging her daughter, stroking her hair until she fell asleep. But Jennifer couldn't sleep with a shut. He stayed there all night, looking at the ceiling, thinking, planning. She needed more than conversations with neighbors and schoolmoms. I needed concrete evidence. He needed to see with his own eyes what was happening in that house. On Saturday morning, Jennifer woke up with a determination she hadn't felt in days. He knew what he needed to do. It was risky, possibly illegal, but I saw no other option. She would go to Robert's house when he wasn't there and find out what was in that basement. He would find the evidence he needed. It didn't matter what it took. Jennifer remembered that Robert always mentioned his doctor's appointment on Wednesdays. "Every Wednesday at 2 in the afternoon, I have to go to the doctor," he used to say. "It's boring, but necessary at my age." That would be his opportunity. The following Wednesday, while Robert was at the appointment, she would walk into his house and find out the truth. The days until Wednesday seemed to drag on forever. Jennifer could barely concentrate on her work. I made small mistakes, forgot things, was constantly distracted. Sarah pulled her into a corner during her shift on Tuesday. "Jennifer, what's going on with you? You're not okay. Want to talk?" Jennifer looked at her best friend and for a moment considered telling her everything. But then he thought better of it. If she told and Sarah tried to stop her from doing what she planned, all would be lost. "It's just stress, Sarah. A lot going on at the same time. I'll be fine." Sarah didn't seem convinced, but she didn't insist. "If you need me, I'm here, okay?" "I know. Thank you." Wednesday has finally arrived. Jennifer had asked for the day off at the hospital, claiming an in-person appointment that she could not reschedule. Emma went to school as usual, knowing nothing. Jennifer dropped her off at the school door at 8 in the morning, gave her a lingering kiss on the forehead. "I love you very much, my love. You know that, don't you?" "I know, Mom. I love you too." Jennifer watched her daughter enter the school, that sweet and fragile child who desperately needed protection. Today, Jennifer thought, today I find out the truth and protect you once and for all. Jennifer went home, changed her clothes. He wore dark jeans, a black long-sleeve blouse, comfortable sneakers. She tied her hair in a tight ponytail. He took his bag, checked that he had his cell phone fully charged, put a small flashlight in his pocket in case he needed it. He looked at himself in the mirror for a long moment. "You can do it," he said to his reflection. "You need to do that." By Emma. He took a deep breath and left the house. The drive to Gresham had never seemed so long. Each red traffic light was torture. Jennifer constantly looked at the clock on the dashboard of the car. 1:15 in the afternoon, 1:25, 1:38. Finally, at 1:50, she arrived in Robert's neighborhood. He didn't park in front of his house this time. He went to a parallel block, found a space between 2 vans, parked there. From there, she would have to walk 2 blocks to his house, but her car would be completely hidden. Jennifer walked through the quiet streets of the neighborhood, her heart pounding in her chest so hard it seemed like everyone could hear it. It was exactly 2 in the afternoon when she turned onto Robert Street. His black pickup was not in the garage. He had already left for the consultation. The street was empty, silent, only the sound of a lawnmower running 3 houses away and the distant song of a few birds. Jennifer walked into the house, trying to look casual, like she belonged there. It wasn't up to the front door. It would be very visible. Instead, he walked down the side of the house to the side gate that led to the backyard. She knew that gate existed because she had seen Robert use it a few times when he picked up Emma. Her hands trembled so much when trying to open the lock that it took her 3 attempts. Finally, the gate gave way with a low creak that seemed too loud in the afternoon silence. The backyard was as well maintained as the one in front, green grass trimmed, some garden tools arranged against the garage wall, flower pots around the edges. So normal, so innocent in appearance. Jennifer walked to the back door, which was on a small covered porch. She tried the doorknob without much hope, certain that it would be locked, but to his utter surprise the door spun easily. It was open. Jennifer stood there for a moment, her hand still on the doorknob, her heart in her throat. That was the line. If he went through that door, he would be invading private property. She could be arrested. I could lose everything. But then he thought of Emma crying, begging not to go, writing that desperate note hidden under her pillow. He takes me to the basement. I'm afraid. Please, God, help me. Jennifer pushed the door open and walked in. The silence inside the house was deafening. Every step Jennifer took on the wooden floor seemed to echo like thunder. She was in the kitchen, everything spotlessly clean and organized. Dishes washed in the colander, countertop shining, light smell of coffee and something sweet. On the fridge were pictures attached with magnets, several pictures of Emma at different ages. Emma at the age of 5, Emma at 7, Emma at 9, all smiling, all apparently happy. Jennifer felt her stomach turn. He passed through the kitchen towards the living room. There was everything she had known from so many times she had come for Emma. The big brown leather sofa, the big screen television. The bookshelf is full of books and framed photos. The board games stacked in the corner. Those same games Emma used to play with her grandfather. Everything so normal, so ordinary, so perfect on the surface. But Jennifer knew that what she was looking for was not there. It was in the basement, Emma had said in the note. He takes me to the basement. Jennifer needed to find the entrance to the basement. He walked around the house, checking each door. A door led to a bathroom, another to a closet, a third to a pantry. Finally, near the laundry area at the back of the house, Jennifer found a different door. It was made of heavy wood, darker than the others, and had a large and sturdy lock. His heart raced. That had to be the door to the basement. Jennifer tried to turn the handle. Locked. Of course it would be locked. She looked around looking for keys. There was a small key ring hanging on the wall near the door leading to the garage. Jennifer ran over and got it. 6 different keys. He ran back to the basement door and began to test them one by one. The first one did not work. The second one didn't either. The third entered the lock but did not turn. The fourth did not enter. The fifth came in, and Jennifer tried to spin with her heart in her throat, but it didn't work either. The 6th and final bracket was not even the right size. None of the keys opened that door. Jennifer leaned her forehead against the cold wood, despair beginning to take over. He had come so far. I couldn't give up now. He looked at his cell phone watch. 2:20 in the afternoon. Robert had left at 2 for an appointment. How long did medical appointments last? 40 minutes? An hour? More? She didn't have much time, but she also couldn't leave without finding out what was there. Jennifer went back to the kitchen and started looking for other keys. He opened drawers, rummaged through cutlery and kitchen utensils. Nothing. He opened the pantry, looked at the high shelves. Nothing. She was starting to get desperate when her eyes landed on a small ceramic pot on top of the refrigerator, almost hidden. He dragged a chair, climbed up, took the pot. Inside were 2 keys stuck in a keychain. He ran downstairs, went back to the basement door, tried the first key. It went into the lock, but it didn't turn. The second key went in, and when Jennifer tried to turn it, She heard the unmistakable click of the lock opening. Her hands trembled so much that she almost dropped the keys. He took a deep breath, held the handle, and opened the door. A wooden ladder descended into the darkness. A musty smell and something more indefinable, something that made the stomach turn, rose to Jennifer. She groped the wall for a switch, but found none. He took the small lantern he had carried in his pocket, lit it, and began to descend the steps one by one. The ladder creaked with every step. The light from the flashlight flickered, creating strange shadows on the walls. Reaching the bottom of the stairs, Jennifer searched again for a switch. This time he found it on the wall on the left. He pressed it, and a fluorescent light flashed several times before turning on completely. And then Jennifer saw it. He saw everything, and he wished with every fiber of his being that he had not seen, because some things, once seen, can never be erased from memory. The basement was large, divided into two areas. The first area, closer to the stairs, looked normal. There were stacked boxes, old tools, some furniture covered with dusty sheets. But the second area, in the back of the basement, was what made Jennifer's blood run completely cold in her veins. There were heavy curtains of dark red velvet, creating a kind of small stage or separate space. In the center of this space was a small, child-sized, upholstered light pink chair. Behind the chair was an infinite photographic background, the kind of plain fabric that photographers use. And pointed directly at that chair, mounted on a professional tripod, was an expensive, professional-quality camera. Jennifer walked toward that corner as if in a trance, her feet moving on their own. I didn't want to see more, but I couldn't stop. The walls around that space were covered, completely covered, with Polaroid photos hanging with thumbtacks. Dozens of them, maybe hundreds. Jennifer came closer, the flashlight still in her hand, though she no longer needed it, and began to look at the pictures. Emma, sitting in that pink chair, wearing clothes Jennifer had never seen. A white dress with ruffles, a red swimsuit, a ballerina ensemble. In some photos, Emma was smiling, but the smile did not reach her eyes. In others, she looked at the camera with a blank, absent expression. And in some, the ones that made Jennifer have to hold onto the wall to keep from falling, Emma had tears running down her face. But it wasn't just photos of Emma. Jennifer recognized some other children from photos she had seen around the house. Children of neighbors, she imagined, or grandchildren of Robert's friends, all in the same pink chair, all wearing different clothes. Some looking uncomfortable, some looking scared. Jennifer told quickly, at least 12 different children, maybe more. In the corner of the space was a tall, dark wood cabinet with locked doors. Jennifer looked around, looking for something to force the lock on. He found an iron bar leaning against the wall between the old boxes. He took it and stuck it in the crack between the closet doors, pushing until the lock gave way with a snap. The doors opened, and Jennifer had to cover her mouth with her hand so as not to scream. Inside the closet were meticulously organized shelves. On the first shelf, pen drives labeled with dates. January 2020 to March 2020, April 2020 to June 2020. Labeling continued month after month, year after year, until September 2024, more than 4 years of records. On the second shelf were children's clothes arranged on hangers, each with a label. Jennifer forced herself to read the labels, even though every word was like a punch in the stomach. Emma, 9 years. Size 8. Sophia, 8 years. Size 7. Michael, 7 years. Size 6, and he continued. More names, more ages, more sizes. Jennifer stopped counting on 12 different children. On the third shelf there were several expensive cameras, professional lenses, lighting equipment, and on the last shelf, under everything, there were notebooks. Jennifer took one and opened it. It was a detailed record written in Robert's neat handwriting. Dates, times, children's names, descriptions of what had been photographed. Jennifer read a page and had to run to the corner of the basement to vomit. After a few minutes of minimally composing herself, Jennifer picked up her phone, with her hands shaking violently, and started taking pictures of everything. From the pink chair, from the photographic background, from the camera on the tripod, from the Polaroids on the wall, photographing section by section to capture them all, from the open closet with the pen drives labeled, from children's clothes with labels, from the notebooks with the records. He filmed the entire space, narrating in a low and trembling voice what he was seeing so that it would be recorded. He took 2 flash drives from his closet, the most recent, and stuffed them into his pants pocket. She also took one of the notebooks, the most recent, and put it inside her blouse, fastening it to the waist of her pants. He needed physical evidence, not just photos on his cell phone. It needed evidence that could not be challenged. Jennifer was finishing photographing the last details when she heard a sound that made her heart literally stop. The sound of a car pulling up in front of the house. A car door closing. Steps on the front porch. A key turning on the lock of the main door. Robert had returned. Panic gripped Jennifer in a way she had never experienced in her life. Her heart raced so fast that she became dizzy. His hands began to shake uncontrollably. The legs became weak. She was in the basement. Robert was entering the house. If he went down and found her there was no way to explain it. There was no way to escape. Jennifer heard the front door open. He heard Robert's footsteps on the wooden floor above his head. She heard his voice calling, "Is there anyone here? The back door is open. Hello? Is there anyone there?" Jennifer ran to the basement stairs as quietly as she could, turning off the fluorescent light before going upstairs. He ran up the steps, trying not to make a noise, but knowing that the stairs creaked with each step. He reached the top, left through the cellar door, and closed it behind him without locking it because he had no time. He could hear Robert walking around the house. He was in the room now. Jennifer heard his footsteps. She was in the laundry area, near the back door through which she had entered. If she could get to that door without being seen, she could run away. But to do so, he had to go through the kitchen, and from the kitchen he could see her if he looked in the right direction. Jennifer held her breath and pressed herself against the wall, trying to be invisible. He waited, every second seeming like an eternity. She heard Robert going to the kitchen. My God, he was so close. If he turned his head to the left, to the corridor where she was hiding, he would see her. Jennifer's heart was pounding so hard she was sure he could hear it. But then Robert began to climb the stairs to the second floor of the house. Jennifer heard her footsteps on the stairs, going up. This was his chance. Maybe your only chance. As soon as he reached the top of the stairs, Jennifer ran. He crossed the kitchen, opened the back door, went out to the porch, went down the steps, ran across the yard. He didn't look back. He didn't think. He just ran. He reached the side gate, opened it, passed through it, ran down the side of the house. He was almost on the street when he heard Robert's voice screaming from the second-story window. "Hey, what are you doing? Stop there!" But Jennifer didn't stop. He ran down the street, turned the corner, kept running. His lungs burned. His legs looked like they were going to give way at any moment, but she couldn't stop, not now. He arrived where his car was 2 blocks later, out of breath, sweating, shaking. He opened the door with hands that trembled so much that he could hardly hold the key. She entered, locked all the doors, and stood there for a moment trying to catch her breath. He put his head on the steering wheel and let the tears come. He cried with fear, relief, anger, horror at what he had seen. But she had succeeded. He had the evidence. The photos on the cell phone, the pen drives in your pocket, the notebook hidden around his waist. He had everything he needed to prove that Emma was telling the truth, that she wasn't making anything up, that something horrible was really going on in that house. If you are here, it is because this story deserves to be heard and you understand the gravity of what is happening. I believe that what comes next will surprise you even more. It will show how courage and determination of a mother can change everything. Don't leave this video before you find out how it all ended, because the outcome of this story needs to be known. Jennifer drove for a few minutes with no certain destination, just wanting to get away from that house, that neighborhood, that horror. But then her mind started working again, and she knew exactly what she needed to do. I had to go to the police, immediately, before Robert had time to destroy evidence, to flee, to do anything. He searched his cell phone for the nearest police station in Portland, Providence Park District Police Station, 15 minutes from where I was. He put the address in the GPS and drove there with his hands still shaking on the steering wheel, wiping tears from his face from time to time, trying to calm down enough to be able to tell everything coherently. He arrived at the police station at 3:20 p.m. He parked in front, took out his cell phone, found that the pen drives were still in his pocket, that the notebook was still hidden in the waistband of his pants. He took several deep breaths, trying to control his tremors, trying to organize his thoughts. "You can do it," she said to herself. "You need to do it for Emma, for all those children." He entered the police station and went straight to the reception where a uniformed police officer was sitting behind a high counter. The officer looked at Jennifer and her face immediately showed concern. "Madam, are you okay?" Jennifer imagined how she must have looked sweaty, pale, trembling, with her eyes red from crying. I need to talk to someone, urgently. It's about child abuse." The policewoman's expression instantly changed from worried to serious. "Sit here, please. I'm going to call a detective right away." Jennifer sat in a hard chair in the waiting room, hugging herself, trying to stop shaking. People came in and out of the station, some police officers in uniform, some people in civilian clothes. But Jennifer barely registered anything around. I only saw those photos on the basement wall, those labels on the clothes, those records in the notebooks. After less than 5 minutes, that seemed much more, a man of about 45, tall, dark-haired, beginning to turn grey, wearing dress pants and a shirt, appeared. "Mrs. Thompson? My name is Marcus Reynolds. I'm a detective here. Can you come with me, please?" Jennifer got up and followed the detective down a hallway to a small room with a table and 4 chairs. He closed the door and indicated a chair for Jennifer. "Sit down, please. Can I bring you water?" "Yes, please." The detective left and came back with a bottle of water, placed it in front of Jennifer. She opened it and drank half the bottle at once. Hadn't realized how thirsty she was. The detective sat across the table with a notepad and a pen. "Now, you said that you have information about child abuse. Can you tell me about the beginning, please? No rush. Tell me everything." And Jennifer did, from the beginning. He talked about Emma, about Sunday lunches at her paternal grandfather's house, about how Emma has begun to change in the last 7 months, about the growing reluctance to go to visits, about the note found under her pillow. She talked about how no one believed her, how everyone thought it was just a phase, how isolated and desperate she felt. He talked about the decision to investigate on his own, about entering Robert's house when he was at the doctor's appointment, about what he found in the basement. Detective Reynolds wrote quickly, asking occasional questions to clarify details. "What time was it when the lady entered the house? Did you touch anything? Did you move something? How many different children do you estimate you saw in the photos? Did you bring any physical evidence?" Jennifer showed the photos on her cell phone. Detective Reynolds excused himself and called another detective into the room, a younger woman named Sarah Chen. The two looked at the photos on Jennifer's cell phone, passing them one by one in silence. Their expressions grew deeper and deeper as they saw. Jennifer then placed the 2 flash drives on the table. "I got it from the closet. They are labeled with dates. And here," he pulled the notebook from inside his blouse where he was hiding. "There are records written by him, dates, names, descriptions." Detective Reynolds put on latex gloves, picked up the notebook, opened it, and began to read. His jaw tensed. Detective Chen picked up the flash drives, also with gloves. "We're going to need to look at their content, but based on what you're showing me here, we have more than enough basis to act immediately." "How long has it been since you left the house?" Jennifer looked at her watch. "About 40 minutes. He saw me leaving. He yelled at me to stop, but I ran and came straight here." The 2 detectives exchanged a look. "So he knows someone has been in the house," Detective Chen said. It may be destroying evidence right now, or preparing to flee. We need to act now. Detective Reynolds picked up the phone on the table and dialed an extension. I need an urgent search warrant. It takes a field crew ready to go out in 20 minutes. As the detective spoke on the phone, Jennifer felt the emotions finally overwhelming her completely. He began to cry, a deep cry that came from the depths of his soul. Detective Chen walked around the table and put her hand on Jennifer's shoulder. You were extremely brave, Mrs. Thompson. What you did today probably saved not only your daughter but several other children. I know it must have been terrifying, but you did the right thing. Detective Reynolds hung up the phone and turned to Jennifer. We got an emergency warrant. We're going to the house now with a full team. We need you to stay here at the police station while we do this. We'll need a formal deposition later, and you'll probably have to testify when this goes to trial. Do you understand? Jennifer nodded. I'll do whatever it takes, whatever. I just want my daughter to be safe. May all these children be safe. Where is your daughter now? Asked Detective Chen. At my best friend's house, Sarah. She thinks I was working out some personal things. He doesn't know any of this. Better that way for now, Detective Reynolds said. We will keep you informed of everything that happens. There is a more comfortable waiting room on the second floor. Detective Chen will take the lady there. It has coffee, water, some snacks. Try to get some rest if you can. As soon as we have news, we will inform you. Jennifer was taken to a room on the second floor that had more comfortable sofas, a coffee machine, a small refrigerator. There was a television turned off on the wall and some old magazines on the coffee table. Detective Chen brought a blanket. Please try to rest. I know it's difficult, but you had an extremely traumatic day. I'll be back as soon as we hear back. Jennifer sat on the couch, covered herself with the blanket, and realized she was shaking again, not from cold, but from shock, from adrenaline coming out of the system, from complete emotional exhaustion. He took out his cell phone and called Sarah. She answered the second ring. Jennifer, where are you? Emma is asking me when you're going to pick her up. I am going. I'll take a few more hours, Sarah. Something happened. I'm fine, but I need to solve some things. Can Emma stay there a little longer? Of course you can, but Jennifer, you're scaring me. What happened? I'll tell you all about it later, okay? Just take care of Emma for me. Don't let her call anyone. He doesn't let her talk to her grandfather if he calls. Promise? Jennifer, is everything okay? The grandfather, what does Robert have to do with it? Sarah, please, I promise I'll explain everything to you, but for now, she only takes care of my daughter for me. Can you do that? There was a moment of silence, then Sarah replied in a worried but firm voice. You can leave it. Emma is safe here with me, and you call me as soon as you can, okay? All right. Thank you, Sarah. You don't know how much that means. Jennifer hung up and hugged the phone to her chest. Emma was safe. I was with Sarah, away from Robert, away from that terrible basement, those pictures, that horror. She was safe. The police were going after Robert now. Soon, very soon, all that would be over. Emma would never have to see that man again. I would never have to sit in that pink chair, put on those clothes, pose for those horrible photos. The wait was torturous. Jennifer looked at her watch every 2 minutes. 3:45, 3:52, 4 and 8, 4:23. She tried to drink coffee but was very nauseous. She tried to sit down but couldn't sit still. She paced back and forth in the room, hugging herself, mentally praying that everything would work out, that the police would be able to arrest Robert, that they would find all the evidence before he destroyed everything. At 5:20 p.m., the door opened and Detective Reynolds entered. Jennifer jumped to her feet, her heart in her throat. And then, the detective gave a small smile, the first Jennifer had seen on his face. We have arrested you, Mrs. Thompson. He tried to flee through the back when he saw the vehicles arriving, but was detained before leaving the yard. We found exactly what the lady described in the basement, and much more. He had other hiding places in the house, other evidence that the lady did not get to see. Jennifer sat back on the couch, her legs cracking from sheer relief. Is he in prison? Stuck now? It is. In the jail here at the police station. He will be transferred to the county jail later today. And I can guarantee that he will not receive bail. The evidence we have is overwhelming. Jennifer covered her face with her hands and cried, but this time it was tears of relief, of gratitude. It's over. It's really over. How many children? She asked in a choked voice. In the records we have found so far, we have counted 12 different children in the last 5 years. But we are still analyzing all the material. The number may be higher. Jennifer felt the nausea returning. 12 children. At least 12. All suffering in silence, all manipulated, scared. Do their families know? We are in the process of identifying all of them and getting in touch, said Detective Reynolds. Most were grandchildren of his friends, children of neighbors, children of the church he attended. He systematically gained the trust of the families, offered to take care of the children, and then, well, you saw it. He was extremely careful, meticulous. If you hadn't trusted your instinct, if you hadn't investigated, it would probably have continued for more years. Jennifer shook her head, still processing it all. What now? What happens now? Now, the prosecution will build the case. With the evidence we have, the flash drives, the notebooks, the photos, the equipment, the testimony of his daughter and possibly the other children, the case is solid. He will be charged with multiple crimes against children. It's looking at decades of imprisonment at the very least. This story is not for everyone. If you are here, it is because you want to know the truth behind the facts, because you understand the importance of protecting our children at all costs. Are you ready for the final revelation, to know how this motherly courage transformed everything? Jennifer left the police station at 6 in the afternoon with a police escort to Sarah's apartment. Detective Reynolds said it was just a precaution, that he didn't believe Robert posed a danger now, but they wanted to make sure. Jennifer thanked her. Everything seemed unreal, as if he was living a dream, or perhaps a nightmare from which he was finally waking up. When the doorbell rang in Sarah's apartment, it was Sarah herself who answered, with an expression of concern and confusion on her face. "Jennifer, what's happening? There are 2 cops with you." "Where is Emma?" Sarah opened the door wide. "Emma is watching cartoons in the living room. Jennifer, you need to explain to me what's going on." "I will, I promise. But first I need to see my daughter." Jennifer entered the apartment and saw Emma sitting on the sofa, hugging a cushion, watching some cartoon on television. When the girl heard her mother's voice, she turned and her face lit up. "Mother, finally! I thought you would never come back." Emma ran over to Jennifer and threw herself into his arms. Jennifer hugged her with all the strength she had, feeling the tears run down her face again. "My love, my daughter. Everything is fine now. It's okay." Jennifer knelt down to be at Emma's height, held her daughter's face with both hands, looked deep into her blue eyes. "My love, Mum needs to tell you something very important, a very serious thing." Emma looked at her mother with those big, frightened eyes. "What happened, Mom? Did I do something wrong?" "No, my love, you didn't do anything wrong. None of this is your fault. Do you hear me?" "Nothing." Jennifer took a deep breath, searching for the right words. "Remember your note, my love, the one that Mum found under your pillow?" Emma looked down, her tears already beginning to fall. "I remember. Mother found out what was happening at Grandpa's house. He found out about the basement, about the photos, and the mother went to the police. Grandpa was arrested today. He will no longer be able to do anything bad to you or to any other child. It's over, my love. It's really over." Emma was silent for a moment, processing what her mother was saying. Then he asked in a small voice, Was he really arrested?" "It was, my love. He's in jail now and he's going to be there for a long, long time." Emma's tears began to fall faster. "I tried to tell you, Mom. I tried. But he said no one would believe me, that you would be mad at me, that they were going to take me away from you." Jennifer hugged her daughter tightly, feeling her little heart beating fast against her chest. "I will always believe in you, Emma. Always. You are my daughter, my #1 priority, and no one will ever take you away from me. You understand? No one. And you were so brave, my love, so brave, for writing that note, for finally telling me. You gave me the chance to protect you, to save you." They stood there, mother and daughter, hugging on the floor of Sarah's living room, crying together. Sarah watched from afar, with tears in her eyes, shocked by what she was hearing. The 2 policemen who had accompanied Jennifer waited respectfully near the door. Eventually, Jennifer and Emma broke up. Jennifer wiped tears from her daughter's face with her thumbs. "Are we going home, my love?" Emma nodded. "Come on, Mom." Before leaving, Jennifer hugged Sarah. "Thank you for taking care of her, for trusting myself without understanding what was happening." Sarah returned the hug. "Always, Jennifer, always. And if you two need anything at all, you call me." Jennifer promised to call, thanked her once again, and left with Emma by the hand. The trip back home was silent. Emma sitting in the back seat, looking out the window. Jennifer driving, looking in the rearview mirror from time to time to verify that her daughter was really there, really safe. The officers followed behind until Jennifer entered the parking lot of her building. Then they waved and left. At home, Jennifer prepared something light for Emma to eat, who barely touched the food. "It's okay, my love. You don't need to eat if you're not hungry." Emma just waved and went to the bedroom. Jennifer followed her and sat on the edge of the bed. "Do you want to talk about something, my love? Or do you prefer to keep quiet for now?" Emma was silent for a while, hugging her teddy bear. Then he asked, "Mom, the other kids, will everything be okay with them too?" Jennifer felt her heart tighten. "My daughter worried about other children even after everything she went through." "Yes, you will, my love. The police will find all of them and make sure they stay safe as well." "Did you see them?" Emma asked. "Their photos." "I saw, my love, and I will do everything in my power to help them too." Emma nodded and lay down, still hugging the teddy. "Can I sleep with you today, Mom?" "Of course you can, my love. You can sleep with me as many times as you want." They went to Jennifer's room, lay together in bed. Jennifer hugged Emma, stroked her hair until she felt her daughter's breathing calm down, and finally she fell asleep. But Jennifer couldn't sleep. She stayed there all night, protecting her daughter, making sure she was safe, thinking about everything that had happened, how she almost let it go, how she almost ignored the signs. In the following days, everything was very fast and very chaotic at the same time. Detective Reynolds called the next day, in the morning. "Mrs. Thompson, I need to inform you of a few things. First, we have been able to contact 8 more families so far. They were all shocked. Some children have confirmed what happened. Others are still too afraid to speak. But with the material we have, we don't necessarily need everyone's testimony to build a solid case." "And the second one?" Jennifer asked. "Second, the story was leaked to the press. It will be news in the local newspapers probably today or tomorrow. I thought it best to let you know so that you are prepared. They can try to contact you for interviews. You are not obliged to talk to anyone if you do not want to." Jennifer thanked for the information. "I definitely didn't want to talk to journalists, not right now." The news actually came out in the Portland newspapers 2 days later. "Respected military veteran arrested for crimes against children. Grandfather abused his granddaughter and other children in the community for years." Jennifer didn't read the full articles. She couldn't. But Sarah read it and said that the Gresham community was in complete shock. Nobody believed it. Everyone thought Robert was a wonderful man. Some of the other children's mothers started calling Jennifer. One of them, crying on the phone, said, "How did I not understand? My son went to his house every Saturday for 2 years. How did I not see the signs?" Jennifer tried to comfort her. "He was very good at hiding, very careful. He gained everyone's trust. It's not your fault, but I'm his mother. It was my responsibility to protect him, and I failed. You have not failed. You didn't know. None of us knew. He manipulated all of us." Jennifer began to receive calls from other mothers as well, some angry, some seeking solace, some wanting to know details that Jennifer couldn't or didn't want to share. Eventually, she had to hang up the landline and started answering only calls on her cell phone from known numbers. Emma began therapy a week after Robert's arrest. Jennifer found a psychologist who specializes in child trauma, Dr. Patricia Moore. The first session was difficult. Emma didn't want to go into the office. She cried at the door, clung to her mother's skirt. "No, my love, let's go in together." Dr. Moore smiled gently. "Hello, Emma. I'm Patricia. Let's talk a little bit. Can I stay with you, Mom?" "Of course you can, my love." Jennifer came in together and sat in a chair next to her daughter. The first session was difficult. Emma barely spoke. She hugged the teddy bear the whole time, answering only with monosyllables. But Dr. Moore was patient. She didn't force it. She just created a safe space where Emma could feel at ease. The first few months were a constant challenge. Emma had terrible nightmares almost every night, waking up screaming in a cold sweat with her heart racing. Jennifer would run to her daughter's room, turn on the soft light, hug Emma until she calmed down. "My love, it was just a bad dream. You're safe here with me. Grandpa can't hurt you anymore. Never again." Emma cried, clinging to her mother. "I see him in dreams, Mom. He takes me to the basement. He says it's a secret." Jennifer felt her heart break every time, but she kept her voice firm and comforting. "He can't do that anymore, Emma. He is in prison, and you were so brave to tell me. So strong." Emma developed a fear of enclosed places. Elevators panicked her. Locked cabinets made her shiver. Even the basement of the building where they lived became a problem. Jennifer had to move from apartment to a building without a basement, just to give her daughter more security. Small, everyday things have turned into battles. Going to school was difficult sometimes. Emma cried at the door of the room, grabbed her mother's hand. "I don't want to be alone, Mom. What if something bad happens?" Jennifer knelt down, looked into her daughter's eyes. "Nothing bad will happen, my love. Mom is out here waiting for you, and you have friends in the room. You're strong, remember?" But gradually, with Dr. Moore's infinite patience and Jennifer's unconditional support, Emma began to improve. After 3 months, she was able to speak more openly in therapy. He told details that he had hidden until then. How Robert made her feel special in the beginning, how he gave her candy and toys, how little by little things changed, how he began to talk about secrets, about photos that no one else could see. Dr. Moore validated Emma's every emotion, helping her process the trauma without guilt. "You have done nothing wrong, Emma. Nothing. He is the one who did wrong things. You were a victim, but now you are safe and free." 6 months after Robert's arrest, Emma was smiling again. She started playing again with her friends from school, participating in activities, sleeping through the night without nightmares. Jennifer saw her daughter slowly returning to being that cheerful and confident girl she had been before. It wasn't the same anymore. It never would be. But it was becoming a stronger, more resilient version. Jennifer has also started therapy for herself. The guilt was overwhelming in the first few months. How did I not see it? How did I let it happen? Why did I ignore the signs? Her therapist, an experienced woman named Linda, helped Jennifer process that guilt. "You did what you could with the information you had at the time. No one sees predators until they are exposed. You acted when you knew, and he saved his daughter and other children. That makes you a hero, not a culprit." Over time, Jennifer joined a support group for mothers who have gone through similar situations. There were 10 women, all with similar stories of abuse disguised as trust. They met every Thursday night in a local church, shared experiences, cried together, laughed together, strengthened each other. It was there that Jennifer found a greater purpose. He began speaking in meetings, sharing his story anonymously at first, then more confidently. The other mothers looked at her with admiration. "You saved 11 children in addition to your own. How did you have courage?" From that group, a movement was born. Jennifer became active in child abuse awareness campaigns in Portland. He gave lectures in elementary schools, spoke to parents and teachers about warning signs, subtle changes in behavior, reluctance to visit family, recurring nightmares, secrets that children don't want to share, and above all, trust in the parental instinct. If something seems wrong, investigate. Don't ignore it. Don't let others minimize your fears. Today, 2 years after all, Emma is 11. All right? She attends school normally, has a group of inseparable friends, participates in the school's arts club where she draws beautifully. She still goes to therapy once a month, but nightmares are rare now. She learned to speak the truth, even when it hurts, even when it's hard. It's the right way, Mom, she tells Jennifer sometimes. Counting saves lives. Jennifer learned that protecting is not just about loving. It is to watch, it is questioning, it is to investigate when instinct screams. It's confronting even when everyone says you're wrong. It is to act with fierce courage. And she continues to be vigilant, continues to teach other mothers, continues to be the warrior that her daughter needs. Before we continue this journey of heart-touching, life-saving stories, help bring this message to those who really need it. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any of our next real and exciting stories. Jennifer hugged Emma that Sunday night, exactly 2 years after it all happened, feeling her daughter's warm and secure little body against her chest. He knew, deep in his heart, that his courage had saved not only Emma, but possibly dozens of other children who might have fallen into the clutches of that monster masquerading as a loving grandfather. The man everyone blindly trusted, whom the entire community respected as a pillar of honesty, who looked like the perfect grandfather with his fake smiles and calculated embraces, hid a disturbing secret behind locked doors, red curtains, and promises of special secrets. And if Jennifer hadn't trusted her maternal instinct, if she had ignored the subtle signs like so many around her did, if she had believed the voices that said you're exaggerating, it's just childhood, Emma would still be suffering in silence, forced to pose for those horrible photos, carrying a weight that no child should have to bear. Robert was sentenced to 45 years in prison without the slightest possibility of parole, and will never again have the chance to harm any innocent children. The full investigation revealed that he had been committing these heinous crimes for more than 5 years, meticulously using the trust that families placed in him to have easy and constant access to the victims. But today, he is exactly where he should be, behind the cold bars of a cell, paying day after day for every child he has hurt, for every family he has destroyed, for every life he has handled with calculated coldness. Emma today continues in therapy, recovering day after day with her mother's unwavering love and the right professional support, surrounded by true security and friends who accept her as she is. She learned that her voice matters deeply, that talking about what's wrong is never really wrong, and that there will always be people who will believe her without hesitation. Jennifer has become an active and respected voice in the Portland community, helping countless other mothers recognize subtle signs of abuse, teaching about the vital importance of talking openly with their children every day, about creating a family environment where children feel completely safe to share any secret. Without fear of judgment or punishment, she learned and now teaches everyone that being a mother is not only about feeding, clothing, and loving unconditionally, but also fiercely protecting like a lioness, courageously investigating even in the face of looks of disbelief, and acting decisively when the whole world insists that you are crazy or overreacting. Jennifer and Emma's true story delivers fundamental lessons that every mother, every father, every responsible caregiver needs to engrave in their hearts forever. First, blindly trust your gut. If something feels wrong on the inside, it's probably deeply wrong on the outside. Don't ignore any sign, no matter how small, and don't let other people's opinions convince you that you're seeing illusions. Second, always believe, without exception, in your children. When a child says that something is wrong, that he doesn't want to go somewhere specific, that he is afraid of someone he knows, listen carefully. Investigate immediately. Act without delay. Third, always remember that predators hide behind the most reliable masks out there. They don't look like monsters out of horror movies, but like normal, respectable, kind people who are always available to help. That is why vigilance must be constant and relentless, regardless of who the person is, no matter how close or reliable they may seem. Fourth, and most importantly, courage saves real lives. Jennifer had the superhuman courage to break into that house alone, to seek the naked truth, even with paralyzing fear, to face a member of her own extended family. And this pure courage saved Emma and 11 other identified children, preventing who knows how many future victims. Today, Jennifer sleeps in deep peace every night, knowing in the depths of her soul that she did absolutely everything a devoted mother should do. She protected her daughter tooth and nail and all the strength of her being, and Emma grows up strong and confident, knowing that she has a tireless warrior mother by her side who will never, ever allow anything bad to happen to her again. Because at the end of the day, being a mother is exactly that, protecting without limits, believing without doubts, acting without hesitation, and loving totally unconditionally. If you like this story that moves the heart and can save real lives, surely the next video that is appearing on your screen will move you even more. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, leave your like and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. A big kiss and see you in the next heartwarming story.